All right, everybody, good morning. Happy Friday. I'm going to try something new today, and I will be talking about data. I'm going to call this Data Demystified, and just giving a little bit more clarity around some of the concepts when you work with data. You can see here in the office in San Francisco, we're close to Chinatown, 650 California. No cable car coming anytime soon, but let's dive right in. I have a little whiteboard here. Let's see if we can capture this. Prepared actually some content already, and here you see 5 data sources, right? And a lot of times, well, data engineering, data scientists will know this, but when we come to executive teams, they ask us like, well, how do we have to think about our data? Here's the answer: 5 data sources. It applies to every business, and we're picking United Airlines for today's example. And let me walk you through what this means. Number one, production data. This is data where you capture your customer profiles, right? So let's just assume I just moved to the US, or I'm a young college graduate. I've never flown with an airline before. So I sign up. I sign up for an account with United Airlines. I go to the website or to the mobile app, and I sign up. And so now United Airlines has my customer profile. So this is all my customer data. And that data sits in a database, right? There's a record of me, when I signed up, how many flights I've taken, what that flight cost, and everything from where to where. So that's all in some sort of production database. That's what it's, when people talk about production, that's production. So that's where my customer data sits. I talked about how you sign up for an event. You sign up for United Airlines via a mobile app or via a website. And what that does is now you can collect event data. How do I navigate in the mobile app, right? Like when I book a ticket, I buy my tickets to the mobile app. What do I do? How do I navigate? When do I open it? At what time? On what device? Do I have an iPhone? Do I have an Android, right? And so this is mainly data from my mobile apps, my United.com website, I have that, right? And maybe even things like other touch points, like a screen at the airport, where once I log in, like, how do I navigate with this thing? Like, am I confused? What am I trying to do, right? So pretty much any screen that I interact with. So that is my event data. So at this point, I have my production data, customer data. I know who this is. It's Lars, right? He's flying with United. I have a customer, a United Airlines customer loyalty program. Forgot what it's called. And I know now what channels I'm using to interact with United Airlines and how I behave in those channels, in those digital channels. So that's event data, production data, event data. Third is SaaS data. Now, as United, I will probably run some ads, right? I will run ads to acquire new customers, and I have these different campaigns. And once I become a customer, it's like, yeah, great, I'm going to sign up to be a United customer. There's some sort of customer relationship management that I will use to go through the life cycle, and something like a Salesforce, right? And so these are examples. Let's just say I have Facebook ads, right? But really, it's like, let's just say, in general, it's ad networks. That's where I acquire my customers, right? So I want to know what ad network is best at acquiring, giving me new customers. Once I have them into the system, I need to store my interactions with them, any agent, right? That's my customer relationship management. I may be getting offers, right? It's Thanksgiving time is coming up, and United is going to start sending me 6 weeks before, hey, book your flight now before we run out of seats. That's marketing automation, right? I might buy a ticket, so I need to do a payment, right? So that's payment, something like a Stripe. I'm running my apps on iOS and on Android, so I have App Store data as well. I call with an issue, it's like I want to change my flight, or I have a problem with my mobile app, right? And so that's support. And most enterprises, maybe not for United, but most enterprises today use SaaS systems. So that's why I categorize it as SaaS systems. They capture all this data, and it's in silos, right? And so all the CRM data is now in this CRM silo, and I need to get it out of there, right? And so one thing that data engineers have to do is get the data out of these systems to a place where I can analyze, but we'll get to that in a minute. The fourth one is sensors and IoT. Now, obviously, United has airplanes, and they collect a lot of sensor data from that, but this is not what I mean in this case. What I mean in this case is more, how do I interact, for instance, with a screen on the airplane? So let's say I sit in first class, I have a screen. What movies do I watch? Right? I know now my consumption patterns, and that's one example, right? Even at the kiosk, the line is a little bit diffused there. Is it here? Is it there? But it's sensor data, right? Like how many people are using the kiosk? How many people are touching the screen? And it's just that data from the sensors that I can collect. And now the final one is third-party data. So this is data that United doesn't control or generate with one of its products. And the most obvious one here is, for instance, can you see this? You can see this, right? This weather data, right? You want to know, like, are people taking flights depending on the weather? Is it hot? Is it cold? How does that impact? The other obvious one is census data, right? I don't know if they're collecting this, but any party wants to have census data. So let me actually do this here, change the view a little bit. So these are my 5 categories of data: production, events, SaaS, IoT and census, third party. And if I'm United, I have all of this now here together somewhere, and I can start asking questions. In the month of May, how many new customers did I acquire, right? How are they interacting with my promotions? How much are they paying us with new tickets, right? It's all these things that I can ask now. But to do that, I need to put all this data into one place. And that's called the data warehouse. It's called the data warehouse. And the job now of data engineering teams is to get all this data into this one place. And because it's now clean and correct and all, you can correlate it, you can join it, you can ask different questions. As I said, like, what ad network gives the best new customers? How much are they spending on us? And this is a simple framework to think about your data. These are the 5 categories. What type of data do you capture? And if I put this all into one place, my data warehouse, what questions can I ask about my business that can help me make better decisions, change my business strategy, develop new products? It's really limitless, but the key is, we took the example of United Airlines. What data can I collect? What strategic advantage do I get from that? What are the questions that I ask? So that's it for today. We're going to talk about other examples. I'll get a little bit more specific. If you enjoyed this video, just click here on the like button, share it, and maybe drop in a comment. If there's a specific company you want me to analyze, we'll look at terms of service, we'll figure out what data they're collecting, and we'll go through this process. All right, have a good weekend.